This is a video to help you complete the Chapter 1 test review. In your packet, you have 3 problems on the first page. If you look at problem number 1, the problem is asking you if the 10 frame shows an even number, and you'll need to choose yes or no. I'm going to do a problem with you that looks like this problem, but it's with a different number of squares colored in on the 10 frame. So again, when you look at the first 10 frame on your page, you're going to see if the 10 frame shows an even number. So I want you to think about what makes an even number and what we've talked about in class. That's right, an even number is a number that can be divided into pairs with none left over. So let's look at this 10 frame. This 10 frame shows 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Does each one of these squares have a partner, or is there one left over? That's right, there's one left over. So is this an even number, or is there an odd man out and it's an odd number? That's right, it's an odd number. So this 10 frame does not show an even number, so you would just fill in the bubble in front of no. The next 10 frame we're going to look at has these boxes colored in, and if we count together, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 boxes colored in on the 10 frame. If you look, does each of these boxes have a partner, or is there an odd man out? They each have a partner, so therefore this is an even number. So you would fill in the bubble in front of yes. Go ahead and pause the video and complete number 1 on your own. All right, question number 2 asks you to write an even number between the numbers 7 and 16. And then you're to draw a picture and write a sentence to explain why it is an even number. So again, I have a question similar to this. I'm going to choose an even number between 9 and 18. So one of the things I might do first is I might write the numbers 9 through 18 on my paper, or I might even start at 0 in order to figure out which numbers are the even numbers. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start up here at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Now I want to underline all the even numbers so that I know that I am choosing an even number. So if you remember in class, we started at 0, and we know that if I have 0 pieces of candy, it can be divided equally between 2 people. Each person gets nothing, correct? So I know that I'm going to skip every other number to underline the even numbers. So 0 is an even number, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. I also can tell if a number is an even number because the 1-digit numbers 0, 2, 4, 6, and 8 are even numbers. So I can just look at the ones place of a number and decide whether it is an even number. So if you'll notice, the 2-digit numbers that we underlined have 0, 2, 4, 6, and 8 in the ones place also. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to choose the number 10 because I know that it is an even number. I'm going to write that 10 up in my box so that I know that that is the number that I am drawing. There are several ways that you can draw a picture to show it's an even number. You could draw a 10 frame, or if it's a bigger number, a couple of 10s frames. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw 10 circles and I'm going to partner them up to show that this is an even number. So if you look, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I drew 10 circles altogether. And if you look, each of those circles has a partner. So I know that 10 is an even number. And when I explain why it's an even number, I'm going to write 10 is an even number because each circle has a partner. There are different ways that you could explain this. You could say that 10 pieces of candy could be divided equally between 2 people. Each person gets 5. Other ways that you can describe it, but this is just one way. Go ahead and pause the video and you complete question number 2. All right, next we're going to look at question number 3, which says, what is the value of the digit 5 in the number 75? So they have some place value blocks laid down here, and we want to know what the value of the digit 5 is. So I have a sample problem, and the number that I have put in my problem is 82. So we want to know what the value of the digit 2 is in 82. So I drew a quick picture, 8 10s and 2 1s. So remember, when you find the value of a digit, that you need to pay close attention to what place that digit is in. So we know that the 2 is in the 1's place. So in order to find out the value of the 2, we count the 1's by 1. So we have 1, 2. So the value of the 2 is actually 2. And just a reminder, if we wanted to find the value of the 8, we know that we would count, we know the 8 is in the 10's place, and we know we would count the 10's by 10. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. So the value of the 8 is 80. Go ahead and pause the video, and you decide what the value of the 5 is in 75. All right, next, we have a question that's going to take a little bit of thought. I'm going to give you a strategy that you can use to make that problem easier. So the question says, Ted has an even number of yellow markers and an odd number of green markers. Choose all the groups of markers that could belong to Ted. So we're going to fill in the bubbles in front of all the ways, all the markers that could be Ted's. Well, we know that the yellow markers needs to be an even number. It needs to be an even number of yellow. So what I did is I actually wrote yellow up above it with even in parentheses so that I would remember that the yellow markers needs to be an even number and green needs to be an odd number. So in your book, it might look something like this. Even could be written up above the yellow so that you remember that these numbers should be even if it could be the markers that belong to Ted. And you know that the odd number of green markers. So above the green markers, you might write odd so that you can go and you can just go down and check to see if it's even. Because if the yellow marker number isn't even, then it automatically could not belong to Ted. So if you remember that the even numbers, I'm going to go ahead and even write these in the book because we have this posted in our classroom. We know that the even numbers are 0, 2, 4, 6, and 8. And we know that the odd numbers are 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Because we figured this out in class and we divided up these numbers to see if they all have a partner. So go ahead, if I look at the 8, is 8 an even number for the yellow markers? I look along and I see 8. So yes, 8 is an even number. But the only way this could be the group of markers that Ted has is if the green is an odd number. So let's look at 3 and look at the odd. Is 3 an odd number? Yes, it is. So that you would fill in that bubble in front because this could be the group of markers that Ted has. I'm going to go ahead and do the second one with you, and then I'll let you do the last 2 on your own. So again, the yellow markers need to be an even number. So let's look at 3. Is 3 an even number? No, 3 is an odd number. So there's no way that this could be the group of markers that belongs to Ted. You can either leave it blank or you could just cross it out because that is not an even number. All right. Go ahead and pause the video and do the second 2 or the last 2 on your own. All right, if you look at number 5 is asking us, it says that Jeff starts at 190 and counts by 10s. What are the next 6 numbers Jeff will say? So you need to fill in the blanks with the next numbers that he would say in this pattern. Well, I went ahead and I started with 280 on my page because I don't want to do the exact problem that's in the book. And I know if I'm counting by tens, just like in the last lesson that we did in chapter 1, then I can look at the tens and ones place and I can count on by tens from there. So I see that I have 80 and I know that 10 more than 80 is going to be 90. However, this is a 3-digit number, so I don't want to forget to put my hundreds place in. So 290 is 10 more. But then if we look at 90, when we count by tens, we say 80, 90, 100. But can we put 100 in this count? Would that make sense that 100 is going to be 10 more than 290? No. We know that instead of 100, we're going to go to the next 100, which would be 300. And then we know that 10 more would be 10, and we make sure that we put 3 in the hundreds place because it's 310. 10 more is 320, 330, and 340. All right, go ahead and pause the video and you complete question number 5. All right, question number 6. This question is asking us to count by ones to 10 and count by fives to 20. So this is what the problem says. Megan counts by ones to 10. Lee counts by fives to 20. Who will say more numbers in their count and explain? So what I've done is I have changed what's being counted so that it's not exactly what's in on your page. But first, we're going to pretend like, and we'll pretend like this is Megan. Megan counts by ones to 20. So what I would do in your book, this is one strategy that you could use, is you could actually put the counts on these lines. So I'm going to put an M for Megan because these are her counts. I'm going to count by ones all the way up to 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So let's look. How many numbers did Megan say? Well, if we start at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. She said 20 numbers. So I'm going to write 20 numbers up here. That's how many Megan said, or how many she counted. And we know that Lee, in your book, he's going to count by fives to 20, but on my question, we're going to count by fives to 30. So I'm going to put Lee, I'm going to put an L, and he's going to count by fives up to 30. So we'll start with 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. How many numbers did Lee say? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He said 6 numbers. So who said more numbers when they counted? That's right, Megan. Why do you think she only went to 20? Lee counted all the way up to 30. Why do you think that Megan said more numbers than Lee? That's right. Megan said more numbers than Lee because Megan counted by ones, right? So to explain that, we can say Megan counted by ones, which is more numbers. When you count by fives, you're skipping a lot of numbers, aren't you? So Lee didn't have to say as many numbers. All right, go ahead on your page and do number 6. Remember that you're counting, Megan counted by ones to 10, and Lee counted by fives to 20. And explain your answer.